If I had to choose between the instruments and the stage. Instruments. Yeah. Because then how are you going to perform without the instruments? So, and also it's nice. Making them feels good. But I don't know if it holds the same equivalent of goodness as performing as well. Because then once you've made it, you want to showcase it. So it's like probably a hard choice, but I'll still say instruments. I like the idea, the excitement. I love going to the hardware store, number one. I like buying. I'm a spender. Like, broke or not, I'm gonna spend. If it's my last 100 rand and I need like isaha, I'm going for the isaha. And then the change, I'm gonna go buy myself chocolate. And then tomorrow I'm gonna be like, I'm so broke, you know? Because also it's hard for me to separate myself and the art form. Because if I'm not performing, I'm making instruments. Whether it's for money or not, like there's a consistency into it. You know, I'm always collecting stuff. And people are like, what are you gonna do with that? I'm like, I'm sure there's an instrument that's gonna come out. Sanbonani. Okay, so Ntomb'Yelanga. I'm a meditator. I call myself a Zulu Buddha. So I once took a 10-day silent retreat in Worcester. And I guess it was the process of me unbirthing myself. Because you know, you get to a point where you don't know who you are, you don't know what you're supposed to do. You know, so in those 10 days of meditation, the name Ntomb'Yelanga came about, and also this tattoo, which is an infinity symbol, and it's written perfect equanimity. So when I put 2 and 2 together, is that as in Ntomb'Yelanga, the sun doesn't hesitate to be as the sun. It is what it is. So I shouldn't also hesitate and question who I am, because I'm infinite. I've always been and I always will be. So it was already happening. Yakala long time ago. I mean, when I started washing dishes. But on a more professional level, okay, I think I was in Cape Town and I was exploring what I know. My artistry has always been in music, but am I a hip-hop MC, which is the people who were surrounding us that time, or I was around people who did a lot of hip-hop, and also in terms of gogomoya ngimepi, because you know we grew up in church, but as we grow older we also now want to identify with our ancestral information and background. So ngangikuleyo paddle of, do I denounce God, pick up my ancestors, but people are telling me ancestry is evil. It was a hectic conflict for me, you know, but all the while I'm doing music, I'm playing the guitar, I'm singing, I'm rapping, you know, working with other artists, Sub Lauren Hill at that time, Nama guitar. So yeah, it's always been in the process, but how to refine it until it becomes my identity. Well, the transition of creating and performing, it came when I realized there's not enough knowledge, number one, about the instruments that we play in the bow instruments. And also, at that time I was doing a lot of research on previous ethnomusicologists. And they were kind of, when I read their material, some of them were just preaching doom to our work as indigenous people, or also just trying to wipe it out totally. It didn't have that substance and value that I believed it had. So rather than just being a player of the instruments, then I was inspired now to start making. That making also came about through dreams. Like I would have like occurring dreams where be a market set up, but ile market like as far as the eye can see, and each sangoma had something to give me. But I'm not going there to take it. I'm pulled towards certain ones with certain instruments. And then from there, I was like, okay, maybe I should be making. In my conclusion of assessing these dreams, ngabona ukuthi okay, no umsebenzi wami ukusiza abalaphi babe abalaphi. And also to introduce healing with music. Already obviously ngiyigubhu ngiyagidwa, but in my head there's somebody who's sick, and you play umakweyana for that person, it can rewire something within them for healing processes or purposes. So Babsaziz Dlamini, he's an ethnomusicologist, and I think also a, what's the word? Yeah, like very broad knowledge from South African historical instruments all over, and he also collects instruments. And I think I also got inspired by him to start collecting my own. We've had few sessions where we would barter. If I've got something unique that I know he'll appreciate, I'll give it to him. And then he's also done the same with me. Actually, my first Makoyana was from him. Okay, so I think, yeah, having met Wapsazi has influenced my view of myself as a performer versus myself outside the work, because the knowledge that he's given, or the things that I've seen in me researching him, he's also one who's made me come to the identity of it's important to preserve, to play, but it's also good for us to develop what we're already playing, so that it's always within existence. And then by developing it, it changes through time, but it's still the same instrument. We modify it, if I can say. Like, he taught us the processes, but we weren't making. So then it didn't feel like enough for me to just watch and then play what I'm told to play. So then he suggested that I go visit Kokumangema. And so I went to Kokumangema, and then she taught me how to identify the tree, where to go, and how then to put it all together. Key turning points in my artist growth. I'll definitely say moving to Cape Town in my earlier years of living, because there I could call myself an artist, you know, because before that, I mean, they used to say I can't even sing, bimba or what, because I'm a choral I guess, you know. And then I think the second best turning point was when I dived into the movement of Rastafari in Cape Town, Marcos Garvey, where now it was the finding my identity spiritually. And so at that time, it led me to Ebraston. And then the form of artistry that you find there, obviously we're singing reggae, you know, struggle songs, living in Babylon, the hardship, like it gave substance to and purpose to why are we living. There's a deeper meaning, and we need to share that meaning so people live in consciousness and awareness. Yeah, well. And then when I evolved to Ntomb'Yelanga, because now Ntomb'Yelanga has encompassed all my life experiences and took away the shame and the guilt and the unknowing and transformed it to, this is who you are, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the only thing you need to do is just share. So how like my upbringing has influenced my artistry. Number one, I've always been the one to think that family teaches you two things, either what you want to be in life or what you don't want to be in life. And so for me, like there are qualities that my family had that were definite no-nos. So living my life out, then it was, I'm gonna do what I think is best for me, using the model of what I don't want from my family. You know, if that makes sense. But Umkhulu was a choir conductor, one of the best in town, and he was a principal for many schools. Yabo. And so I didn't know that I had him in me, because now I'm a musician and I'm a school teacher. So, like, I guess his influence, I think in my whole family, the one person that I owe my being to is my grandfather. Like, I think he was a dope man. He had a good sense of humor. He was good at what he does. And he was always pursuing knowledge. Like, after his passing, came across some certificates and degrees and diplomas of him constantly, you know, raising the bar higher for himself in his music and teaching knowledge realm, you know. So for me, like, in the art world, it's not instant gratification processes or practice of life. It's a lifestyle. And in a lifestyle, you have highs and you have lows. But there's no way if you want to pack your bags just because now you're on your lows. Yeah, so as an artist, you need to invest in your knowledge, invest in your equipment, and then invest in cleansing your spirit constantly so that you don't get caught up in the hype of people praising you, or you don't get caught up in the hype of people not recognizing you, you know. My background in the arts is what my class is based on, actually, you know, so that it's not sit down, I'm telling you, no, here's the instruments. What I want from you is sound pictures. Put them in groups. You are stuck in the forest. These are the instruments you have. What are the sounds you are hearing? Yeah. You are stuck in the middle of the ocean. There's lightning and thunder. Here are the instruments. What sounds are you hearing? Then they have that time now to create. And you'll be amazed, man. I think I've always had a mental checklist for everything. Like, I think I'm the type of person who, by the time today happened, it's already happened in my head. I've played out all the variety of scenarios, and then so that when I wake up in the morning, I'm just like filling up spaces. This is done. Like, this is done. This is done. So when I make instruments, I've already made them in my head. So my checklist is there, so that I don't get surprises on the. I even buy extra stuff just in case. You alleviate a lot of stress. Because then for me, then if it doesn't happen the way I've imagined it, then it wasn't meant to happen. So why must I stress about it? Because if it was supposed to happen, it would happen. Also, because I meditate, it's necessary because it keeps me in check with myself. When I get my anxieties about something that I shouldn't be having anxiety about, like, I meditate. Then I get my clarity, but clarity is not like, ta-da-da! In the process of living, when you open the boot of the car and something hits you, like, okay, cool. Okay, I got this. And then, because also I just believe in being happy and being at peace. Because ngeke ngikwazi ukuba umlaphi wabalaphi if angilaphekile. So I need to keep my zen, yeah, well, so that I can do what needs to be done for them.
Sizingane zogogo sikhumbula okhokho buqa phansi uthandaze unyuse umoya wakho isikhathi sokukhala siphelile vuma ikhono lakho ngoba umuntu nomuntu nesiphiwo sakhe sivume siyavuma sizingane zomculo sibheke emuva thina sakhiwe ngenye indlela sisuke emandulo sakhiwa njengegolide ngoba ngithi nyuse